wanted to get back into it, and I noticed on his website that he's got this writer's retreat, and I finally decided, just do it. Just go out and take the time and come out. And I have to tell you, what I like best is I just love being in the company of writers. I mean, it is just so cool.
Me too.
Okay, yes. So, I mean, all of us are going through the same trials and tribulations, and there's just a sympathetic ear. You know, we all know what we're going through, and it's very nurturing. And I'm just getting a lot out of it. As he said, there's time to work. The rooms are like, you just focus on what you're doing. You have a beautiful view. And I went into town yesterday, and it was a super cool town. Yeah. So can't say enough, and I definitely would want to come back.
I hope you do. I think you focused in on one of the best things, as I see it anyway. I can, growing up, a kid, a smallish town in Oklahoma, I don't know anybody who wrote. Eventually, I stopped talking about wanting to be a writer because people would just laugh and tell me I was dreaming. I mean, I had a sense that I was a complete outlier. I really wasn't. I just hadn't found my tribe, if you know what I mean. And I think that's the warm and wonderful part of these retreats sometimes, conferences too, but here where you really get to know everybody, I think there's a feeling like you've found your tribe. You're with other people who have the same ideas and thoughts that you do. You're pretty far along in your book though, right, Julio?
Yeah, I've gotten to the end, just need to beef it up a little bit more. So I got some more work to do. So maybe when's the next one so I can come back and finish?
Which is the perfect attitude, don't expect it to happen overnight. Just keep working. And like I say on every podcast, as long as you don't quit, as long as you keep working at it, you're going to get there eventually. Okay, slide that microphone down. We're going to talk to Lynette Bennett, who is an extremely experienced veteran of stage and screen, professional actor many times over. Back in the 60s, she was on stage with Barbra Streisand in Funny Girl, and she's got dozens of credits ever since. And now you're taking your hand at writing. What are you doing here, Lynette?
Well, I just felt like I had, some fun and interesting anecdotes, and I'd like to get them down. Mm-hmm. So I thought I'll go work with Bill Bernhardt, and he's exceptional. I love to come to the retreats. I've been several times, and I make great progress on my material, and that's the point, of course. Bill's a wonderful critic, and he takes us one chapter at a time, and he'll mark it up, give it back to us, and then we can deal with his critique.
Deal with it? What is it? Live with it? Endure it? What are you going for there? Well, and you're writing a memoir, although you've also got a true crime book you're working on, but you're talking about the memoir, all these stories. I mean, they need to be told. I mean, this is a great storied career that even people who aren't Broadway geeks like me, I think anybody would be interested in it.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's the idea, right?
Well, it's New York theater. In the 60s specifically.
Okay, let's pass the microphone down. Passing to John Fulton now. John is the author of a book called The Janitor Must Die, and he's working on another book here, and that's what's brought him to this small group retreat. Now, you've already written and published one thing. What are you going to get out of this, John?
Well, it's just, if you're in the writing profession, your opportunities to meet people who are working in your craft are really very few and far between. I've actually met at least one fairly famous sci-fi author, but the opportunity was basically, he was in town for one day. He was at a conference. We went up there. I actually had some pretty good conversations with him, and as of course, because these only happen like once in a blue moon when you're a writer. You just go, hey, can I send you something? And because he was a very understanding guy, he went, okay, but I can't promise to look at it. And I went, okay. And I sent something to him, and he never had time to look at it. And I can't blame him for that, because he probably meets literally hundreds of people like that. He can't possibly do that the same way you can, just, well, I want to be an electrician. I'll go meet an electrician.
I think most people are surprised by how, I can't say all, but most writers are friendlier than they expect. That's one of the advantages of the conference, or like WriterCon, where we'll have 50 plus people there speaking, and most are very happy to talk to you. Now, asking them to take a manuscript home might be pushing your luck, but talk to you, tell their stories, answer questions, give you the benefit of their experience. That I think most people are happy to do that. But we're a little more intensive here, right, John?
Exactly. You took a look at my manuscript and you're writing it up and looking at all the different grammatical elements, and even we're going through every level of the story from premise down to the grammar, and just having a professional who's been successful in his field doing that is unique.
Great. Okay, slide that microphone down. Am I allowed to say mightily that you're John's mother? So there's a family bond going on here, but she's working on her first novel. And I think you're not just the driver. You're here because you wanted to work on that book, right? What brought you here?
Well, the advantage of having a place to come and focus in on the work, or just looking at it again, is all that time you just have designated to do that. When I started writing it was intermittent, and then it became once a week, and it moves along, but it's slow, whereas you got 4 or 5 days dedicated to looking over what you're doing, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. It moves along a lot faster.
Cool. Susie, I want to talk to you as well. Probably, everybody's got stuff going on in their life, but you have had a lot going on in your life lately, including a wedding, and yet here you are, poor newlywed husband back home, I guess, all by himself, and you're here working on your book. And you've been to some of these seminars before. What's bringing you here?
Well, I want to start with what got me connected to begin with. I picked up your book on dialogue.
Oh, the Red Sneaker book?
And on Audible. And at the very end, you said, if you want a copy of the ebook, here's my email.
Right.
So I began a conversation, and I liked the book so much, I asked if you offered workshops. Mm-hmm. And that's how I ended up at my first one.
You know, that business at the back of the... that turned out to be unexpectedly brilliant. I didn't plan it at all. When I recorded the story structure book, I thought, well, people on an audiobook aren't going to be able to see the diagrams, which, by the way, my son Ralph designed for the book based on my crummy hand-sketched drawings. So I put in that line saying, hey, send me an email and I'll send you all the supplemental materials. Well, now, of course, in marketing, what everybody talks about is capturing emails. You've got to have an email, and that's how mine was created. And I didn't even plan it that way. It was just completely fortuitous. So you ended up coming to a workshop, right?
Yes.
What do you think?
Love it. And the difference between doing a workshop close to home and one where you travel is you really get the distance so you can focus on your work.
Great. How's it coming?
It's coming.
Yeah, well, that's the best answer, really. Nobody's going to pretend this or anything else will ever make writing easy, but it might make it a little bit easier. Might give you the knowledge you need to move forward, and that's all you can hope for. While I've got this brain trust on the table, including my wife Laura she's done 2 books in a supernatural suspense series called The Wantlet Files. That's the title of the first book. The second is The Haunting at Crescent Hotel. But this September, she's got a book, women's fiction, I would say, called Shadow of the Taj, 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 like in Taj Mahal. It's a beautiful, wonderful novel, but clearly a completely different genre. Last week we were talking with John Woolley about switching genres. Are you worried about that, Laura?
I can't help but worry about it a little bit. It's not something that traditional publishing houses would ever allow, much less encourage. This book is the first book I ever wrote. It's just taken a lot longer to get it to publication. Landing that agent and then finding the right publishing house for it took a very long time after the time it took to get the manuscript ready to that point. So yes, I am worried, but I've also heard from some fans of my series that keep asking when's the next book coming out, and when I tell them September, but it won't be the part of the series, they've said they don't care. They like my writing. They think I'm a good writer, and they're going to read anything that I put out there. So that's a little bit encouraging for me. And I'm also aware of some other authors who have successfully managed a career that spans genres. They're able to break out of that, and fingers crossed. I'm hoping people will follow me and enjoy both types of books that I write.
Well, that's always been my theory. I've done a little genre hopping myself, as you know, and sometimes it worked better than others, but at least you're not starting from zero. You've got a popular series. It's got fans, at least some of them. Maybe not all, but it's not like you're starting from zero. Some are going to read.
I'm crossing both fingers.
Yeah, right.
Come on. I think so. I'm hoping.
Lynette, I'm going to pick on you before I wrap this up because, of course, I can't end the podcast without mentioning WriterCon, our annual writers conference every year in Oklahoma City over Labor Day weekend. We're only about a month away from that now. As we're recording this, of course, I think everybody should come, but you've been in the past. Yeah. So only say good things, but tell them about the WriterCon, because there are no bad things, I'm sure. Tell them about being at the Writers Conference.
There's an excellent range of topics, and you just look through who's doing what and pick the ones you want to go to. My fun, especially this last time, I spoke to 3 agents, made my pitch, which I practiced with Bill. He always has us practice our pitches. So I practiced my pitch to 3 agents, and 3 of them said, send me your manuscript.
Nice.
So I can't ask for more than that. So that's what I'm working on with Bill right now.
In addition to all the classes and everything else, you've got actual practical benefits coming out of the conference. Fantastic. Thanks to all of you for participating in this group interview. I think this has been a lot of fun. Few quick announcements. If this idea of participating in a small group seminar interests you, I'll be doing it again. The next one will be in December in New Orleans. You can find out all about it at my website, williambernhardt.com, and I'll be back in Eureka Springs again next summer. And if you're interested in WriterCon, it is not too late to sign up. More than 50 speakers, authors, literary agents, editors, publicists, movie, TV people. We got people speak in every imaginable field of writing, fiction, nonfiction, every genre covered, romance, science fiction, mystery, thriller, horror, video games, comic books. Is there something I've left out? I think we've covered pretty much everything. Plus, you'll have a chance to enter contests, meet with agents one-on-one. Is this the time you decide to move your writing career to the next level? I hope it is. If you're interested, come join us at WriterCon. The website where you can find out more information about it is writercon.org. That's WRITERCON.org. Until next time, keep writing. And remember, you cannot fail if you refuse to quit.